Hey, Armaties, catch you up on a few things. You know, it's been so hot, it's really even difficult to go out sailing. But talk about hot, my hot water heater went out. And, you know, I've been smelling the water has been a little off the last month. But it's warm, it's not real hot. I didn't really think that much of it. You know, I'm not living on the boat right now. I'm only here now and then. Seemed okay, but the other day or a week or so ago, I said, you know, this isn't right. The tank doesn't smell right. The water doesn't smell right. So I decided to take the water element out, the heating element out. That's usually what goes bad. So I get down there, I start working on it. Man, oh man, that son of a gun, it was tough to get out of there. I mean, I tried everything. You know the water heater wrenches, the element wrenches they have, that little tube? I tried that. I couldn't get enough torque on it. Put a screwdriver in it. Tried that. That didn't work. Tried to get a plumber's wrench, you know, like you use to tighten faucet connection on a sink. That barely fit around it. That didn't work. I couldn't get a pipe wrench on it. So finally I said, all right, I got to go buy an 1.5 inch socket. Well, I'll tell you, the place to go for that, don't go to a hardware store or something like that. Go to an auto mechanic shop, something like, you know, Auto Plus, or I don't know, any one of those. They sell individual sockets. When I went to the hardware store, Harbor Freight and those guys, it's like $50, $60 for a set. And I'm thinking, I want to use this thing once. All I need to do is just get it loose. So I go to my local auto supply house, $9.95 for an 1.5 inch socket. Come back to the boat. Now this is hard to get into because, see here, I put this cage to protect the shift cable and the throttle cable. I've had both of those cables break on me before I came to my senses and built this frame for it. You know, stuff down in the lazarette, I bumped it or something and it snapped off. I mean, these cables don't usually go bad. Luckily, each time, I'm in the habit of doing this and all the time, before I leave the pier, I throttle up, throttle back, put it in forward, put it in reverse. So the first time that happened, I put it in forward, nothing happens. Put it in reverse, nothing happens. All right, shift cable broke. A few months later, I get ready to go, I throttle up, put the throttle up, it goes up, pull it back, doesn't slow down because the cable inside, it pushed it to speed it up, but it snapped and it wouldn't pull it back out. Now, I know that's got nothing to do with the water heater problem. Just a heads up on something like that. So anyway, I wound up having to take this cage off. Then I was able to get in there and get that loose. Now, the other thing I found was, and I found out this right away, and I called the company and asked them about it. There's a high-low limit switch, you know, on water heaters. This one, I think, is the hot, or I don't know which one it is. I should ask, I guess. Anyway, that's just hanging there. Usually it's bolted to the side of the tank. You can see here. But it broke off right at the tank where the screws are. So how the heck do I put that back on? Called the company. I said, well, you know, about the only, you got two choices. You get to buy a new water heater, or you try something like JD Weld, clean the surface really well, make sure there's no oil on it, you know, and you got a 50-50 chance of that working, maybe 65-70% chance of that working. So that's what I did. I got that cleaned up. I sanded it a little bit, you know, gave it a little bit of a rough so the JD weld had something to hold on to. I took acetone, cleaned it off, made sure all of the oils and everything were off. It was nice and dry. Mixed up the putty, put it on there, let it sit for a day, turn the unit on. I'm back in hot water, guys. The good kind of hot water. The other project I had, and I think you guys mentioned it before, my RPM gauge stopped working. So I went around and I took all of the connections off and I sprayed them with a electronic cleaner. It's starting to rain again, you can probably hear that. So then I also saw something and what I did is where the sender is, the thing that measures the RPMs, took the wires off of that and put your ohm meter on there, and if it's good, the needle will move. If it's not good, the needle's just going to sit there. So I bought one, you know, it came in this little box, $200. You need it, you need it. I mean, I guess I really didn't need it, but I like to have a RPM gauge. So here you can see, just to make sure that that's really true, that if it's a good sender, that the ohm gauge is going to move. Well, look at this. Moved plenty. So that was really a pretty easy fix. Both of these projects were pretty easy fixes. They were just time consuming. And you know, I think the heating element for the water tank, I got the 1500 watt one, $8 or $9 on Amazon. You know, if you want to get a marine grade one, which is basically the same thing, it's $33 is what I saw. I just put this one in, and hopefully that fixes everything. I mean, I ran the hot water the other day, had plenty of hot water, started the engine just before this video. Look at this, RPM gauge, working. So I think I got a couple of little projects done on the boat. It took me a while to do them. I mean, man, oh man, you guys here on these, and maybe everywhere in the US here, it has been friggin' hot. Even if it's not that hot, like yesterday, it was 87 degrees, 88 degrees. With a 92% humidity, the heat index was close to 100 if it wasn't over 100. So anyway, that's kind of the projects I've been doing. We're going to go visit the grandkids here in a couple of days. We get back from that. Hopefully it's not oppressively hot. We can get out and do a little bit of sailing. Well, until next time, guys, happy and safe boating to you, your family, and friends.